Australians of Reddit, what is the scariest encounter you've had with one of the native animals? I had just come home after a long bicycle ride. I took my shoes off and just forgot to bring them inside afterwards. 2 days later I was about to go on another bicycle ride, so needed my shoes. I put my left one on with no problems, but felt something a little squishy when putting my foot into my right shoe. I immediately took my foot out to discover it to be covered in at least 100 baby spiders, and a larger redback spider came scuttling out of the shoe. Don't leave your shoes outside, or at the very least check them. Unlike me, American here. My wife had us bring home some chairs we found on the curb. My shoes got taken off and sat next to the new furniture. The next day I put them on, and it feels like I have a rock in my shoe. I take it off and shake it. A huge pastel spider falls out. It was yellow and pink, which means whatever kind it was lived in flowery areas. I had stood on this thing with all 220 pounds of my weight, and it wasn't even harmed. I bashed it with the shoe 3 times. It just kept walking. Finally I put the shoe top of it and stood on the shoe with both feet, and that finally did it. I don't know what kind it was, but clearly if had bitten me, I'd be a superhero by now. UK here. I was fast asleep in bed one night when I felt something tickling across my face. Half awake at this point, I reached up and smacked myself in the face, upon which I realized it was a squishy strawberry sweet with a liquid center. Satisfied, I went back to sleep. The next morning I found a squished spider right next to my mouth on the pillow. It was not, in fact, a squishy strawberry sweet with a liquid center as I had believed the night before. It was my actual worst nightmare come true. Thank God we don't have venomous spiders in the UK. I was driving on a straight unsealed road through barren land and had not seen anything on the road or to either side for about half an hour when I had to decelerate heavily to avoid driving into a group of half a dozen emus who were startled and who scattered in all directions. I think you mean they took military action and stealthily dispersed as the enemy approached from the south. They never signed a declaration of peace. The war rages on the evasive emu population. I was driving to the Principality of Hutt River, so my driving may have appeared to them to be an international act of aggression. Vale Prince Leonard, did the prince pass away recently? Sad if so, what a guy. February. Sad. The prince is dead, long live the prince. Came home from work and went to step outside to enjoy the garden when I noticed an intense buzzing. I look down and there's a spider wasp and a huntsman spider having a Godzilla, King of the Monsters showdown, wrestling all over the patio area. The spider wasp stung the huntsman into submission and dragged it over to a hole in the wall. I later learned that the spider wasp lays her eggs in the barely living body and uses it as an incubator. Nice. In another huntsman incident, the one I keep in my garage dropped into my lap from the sun visor in my car as I reversed out of my driveway. I screamed for a bit before scooping him up and popping him back in the garage. I warned him not to get in my car again. Anyone watching would have found a grown man lecturing a f***ing huge spider a bit weird. I do generally like them though, hence not killing it. I've also been chased by an emu while cycling a few times. They're f***ing deranged. That is a very level-headed approach to a massive spider falling in your lap. I'm of the school of shriek, jump in the air whilst shrieking, punch crotch repeatedly, leap out of car, smack head on door, knock self unconscious. Come to an hour later with concerned huntsman sitting on my face, checking that I'm okay. And that's how I'm going to be found, dead on my garage floor, having literally my heart out of my asshole. While I was mowing, saw a snake. Thought it was a red-bellied black snake. Get them all the time. So I took a stick and hit the ground near it to scare it off. Fucking thing arced up, hissed and charged at me. I took off. It was a tiger snake. They're aggressive bastards too. Had one rear up at me when I was looking for my ball at the golf course one day. I'll let him keep it. Dude, I hear a lot of people talking about how North American snakes, both non and venomous, chase them and were aggressive and have to really poo-poo them since our snakes just want to take off and be let alone. Aussie snakes though, nope, they 300% want to wreck your day for looking at them wrong. Got chased by a black mamba, and those fuckers can climb trees and swim too. If it wasn't for being close to the tractor I probably wouldn't be typing this right now. And yeah, they are basically as fast as a normal human can run. Africa, one more thing, they will f*** you up just to f*** you up. No provocation needed like a polar bear of the reptile world. Yeah, and once bitten, if you don't get medical attention in less than 10 minutes you are as good as dead. 95% of people bitten by this demon snake die. It is not so much their venom that is more potent than other, still hella potent, but their aggression. They can raise the up 3 to 4 feet, meaning that most of their bites end up on the victim's torso area. You can bind a bitten arm or leg, but you can't bind a chest or neck. Lived in the outback. Was just minding my own business walking past the local cinema and a 6-foot emu came running out from behind a tree and nearly knocked me down. Scared the absolute crap out of me. Follow up, emus were not supposed to be in the township. There was a fence to keep them out, so town services had to forcibly evict it. They achieved this by driving up close to it, throwing a noose around its neck, quickly winding up the windows and slowly escorting it out of town. Bad idea. They are surprisingly strong, and it kicked in the whole side of the vehicle in the process. They must have been a rebel faction from the Great Emu War. Take me to the Great Outback, tell them I'll give the car a whack. It was an advanced scouting force. The emus will rise again. Force reckon. Chieftain Graby Klangstride Fourth shall be avenged. Came home after 2 weeks away. My parents picked me up, unloaded my suitcase, loaded it up themselves, then left on holidays. That night, I was sleeping on my stomach, and a possum came in through the window and landed on the soles of my feet. I'm guessing he had pushed through the flat screen while I was away and had been sleeping in my room. All I knew is something big and hairy landed on me. I lashed out, and he went flying across the room. I left pretty quick and slept on the couch. Another one didn't scare me, but the wife. I saw 2 or 3 baby huntsman spiders about the size of a pinhead outside my bedroom. I saw maybe a dozen more in my bedroom. Then I walked into my end site. Huntsmans have about 200 babies at a time, and the remaining 185 were all in there hanging out. The wife made me go out at 11 PM for bug spray and still didn't sleep in the bedroom for another 4 nights. I once wandered toward the bathroom at 2 AM, flipped on the light to discover 200 of the little buggers on the hallway ceiling. Sprayed bug spray at them. They all started to rappel downwards on their spidery silky web simultaneously. If I hadn't needed to use the lube before that, I certainly did afterwards. That's a lot of possums. About 5 years ago I was fully envenomated by a king brown while working on a remote mine site in the Pilbara, Washington. I had all sorts of side effects from the antivenin, including blindness. It took 2 years to fully recover. I'd like to know more please. What was the first symptom of the venom you noticed? Of the venom itself. Photophobic headaches and nausea within about 5 to 10 minutes. Limited gross muscle movement and O2 saturation dropped after about an hour. I could feel the venom traveling through my system, particularly in my groin, kidneys, and glands. I don't want to ask what it feels like to have snake venom coursing through your groin, but oh, that what the hell did it feel like to have snake venom coursing through your groin? Hot razor blades. Went into my shed, no lights, only to find out it was full of redbacks with webs in every corner. Now I'm not scared of spiders, but holy Christ, half a bloody dozen were crawling all over me. Lucky I had some friends that were more than happy to smack them off. My usual response to people talking about burning down a building over spiders is sure, Jan, but in your case it might actually be called for. Sure, Jan, sure, San, Najay, Erus, Naj. I'm not from Australia, but lived in Brisbane for a year while studying abroad. Was walking to the bars with a friend in the evening, quite dark out even on suburb city streets, so I pulled out my smartphone camera light. Just as I do so, I pan up to rustling in a nearby tree and there is a giant bat on a tree that turns around and spreads its wings like it's Batman. We ran out of there damn fast. After that, along with spider webs, I no longer walk on side walks into the suburbs, even during the day. We've got tons of bats near us. They like eating the fruit in our palm trees. They are really cute and fascinate our cats lol. Brother, tell us how to soar amongst the stars as you do. Please whisper your secrets to us, your cats, probably. Great start to a writing prompt. Bats, we shall not share our secrets with you, but how about Hendra virus? Even the cute fruit bats can kill you in a protracted way. A leech attached itself to my eyeball while I was hiking in the rainforest. My friends wanted to piss on it or light a match over it, but neither solution seemed ideal. So I waited while it wiggled about, filled up with blood, and finally dropped off an hour later. The following week I went on a date with one of the guys I met on that hike, even though I still had a zombie eye from the leech bite 10 years on. Last year, he and I went back to the place where he first looked me in the eye with that leech wiggling about, and we were married in the rainforest with our friends standing by. It didn't hurt though, right? I recently heard eyeballs themselves have no nerve endings in them. No pain, just the gentle flapping of the other end of the leech against my eyelid. Oh, for fuck's sake, lol. Why? Why did you have to ask? God damn it. Lol. I'm so sorry.